Okay. 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 Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Hey, buddy, this is RHJunior, RHJunior Reality Check coming to you live over the internet through the system of tubes, as the Congress likes to call it. Bringing you the best in the YouTube boob tube, and bringing you also a little something I like to call, a little project of my own, spleen squeezins. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 da 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 da. Click over. Hey everybody, I don't know if you're out there, if you can hear me or not. I have no idea how to adjust the audio on this thing. There's no automatic system for adjust. There's no automatic volume adjustment system on this thing. You'd think, I mean, automatic volume control came out in like the 90s. You'd think they'd have it in this program, but no. You got to fiddle around with dials and buttons and stuff. And every time the music changes, there's going to be problems with volume. Voice is coming in loud and clear. Is the music coming in loud and clear? Is it sufficiently volumable? Yes, that's a word. I made it up. I made it up, then I pronounced it and said it, and therefore it exists. So there, yeah. Like who decided the guys that write Webster's Dictionary of all things are the people who get to decide what words are in our language? Explain that to me. For all I know, we've got like maybe 100 people out there writing different dictionaries, Mongo's English Dictionary, all sorts of words we never get to use because it's not Webster's. Like kiss my butt. He must have had some real jerks as friends. He finished. I just finished writing this book with all the words in the English language, and his friends immediately start making up words around him, using them like they've spoken them all the time. Oh, the oobleck is particularly carflunitus today. Yeah. You made that up. Me make up a word? That's impossible. Urban Dictionary. That's not an urban. The Urban Dictionary is not a dictionary. It's a depository for really gross sex and poop jokes. The Urban Dictionary is the internet equivalent of those quizzes they used to give out to high school students asking about their sexual activity. Yeah, you think about that. You give this kid a questionnaire. Don't worry, the answers are anonymous. And let them put down what it's not going to be graded, and it's totally anonymous. Here, put down your answers on your sex life, and you can guess where it went from there. That's how we got some of these ridiculous urban myths that started going around, these scares, and the press ran with them, like butt chugging. Supposedly college co-eds were dropping their pants, standing on their heads, and letting their friends pour beer up their backsides, because that way they can't smell it on your breath. Big hint: no. Have you ever gotten alcohol into an open cut? Can you imagine? Can you imagine the pain? Oh my! And you ever heard the ones about the rainbow parties? Supposedly, the teenagers were going out and having rainbows where the girls would put on different shades of lipstick and go down on a guy, and you could tell how many girls had gone down on him by the rings on his, by the rings of lipstick in different colors up his you know what. And guess what? Guess what? Not true. The kids get the, they got the questionnaires they made up. We have reports that kids are getting, we have reports from young teenage boys admitting that they got laid 5 times a week. Yeah. You want to ask these so-called scientists. You do realize that your picture is in the dictionary next to gullible now. Fake news sells. Bad news sells. Fake news apparently sells even better. It's a way for it's a way for stressed out people to confirm all their biases without actually checking any facts. You got the middle-aged parents and grandparents and the old folks all going around talking about how horrible children are today. See, this proves it. I'm 47 years old and I don't like old farts. So, what does that tell you? Let's see. What was I? Oh yes. I was going to open the art program so we could finish up that comic for. I owe crap to everybody. In the good news, I managed to figure out how to replace and repair the pen nib on my Wacom stylus. Surprisingly easy. It's just a little stick of plastic that you have to pull out of the tip and replace with a new one. Just slide it in, locks them, But that saves me a lot of concern because these crazy people out there, they were wanting. I looked it up. They were wanting they want like. My lord, they wanted $99 for a stylus that goes with my It's really embarrassing. The prices. I'm sorry. The Wacom tablet I use is like not even last year's model. It's like several years back model, and they want like no what wrong button? Okay, cancel. They want $100 for the stylus. The pen you use to draw on it. I'm like, you jerks. Don't get me wrong, I love Wacom tablet. It's made my life it's made a lot of my life a lot easier and helped me to improve my artwork tremendously. But dang, once they've cornered a market, they're going to squeeze it. It's just disgraceful. I have the same problem with all the products like Photoshop. Do you know how much money they want for a copy of Photoshop? They want "Are you on drugs?" amount of money, Are you kidding me? Are you on drugs? Kind of prices they're setting there. Meanwhile, the other programs I've used, Paint Shop Pro and my current Manga Studio, not even half that price. Not even half. They apparently think the sun shines out of their rear ends. You got the same problem with the PDF programs. I seriously resent the fact that the PDF file has become such a corporate standard because Uh, the people that make the program, they want ridiculous amounts of money for it and for everything else that comes with it. Second of all, it's a pain in the butt to work with. You need special programs to edit the files. You need special programs to make the files. You practically need a college course to learn how to use the darn programs. They're difficult to use. They're clumsy. They're not intuitive in the least. Just a righteous pain. But in most circumstances, if you want to work with, you got to be able to make PDF files. You have to be able to edit them. I still haven't made a PDF version of my books to send, that I can send to Amazon.com. But it's one of those things on the to-do list that keeps growing while my back is turned. Let's see, am I on art? Yep, I got the just pulling files here. What am I looking for? Commissions. Okay, commissions. That's Wild Weasel. He's got a couple that he's still waiting for. I've got to get him too. And let's see here. I feel old. I smell old. I'm old. Old and fat. Tired. My everything hurts. I mean, I could not, even after it warmed, I tried to sleep this morning, after everything warmed back up and I could lie down in my room without cold drafts blowing up my nose. I tried to sleep, and I couldn't. My legs started hurting. My back started hurting. I don't know if it's the bed, or if it's me, or if it's both. But I was just in so much pain. It's terrible. There's really not much I can do for it. If I'm sitting up in this chair, my feet hurt. My feet hurt and my legs hurt because this chair is poorly. I told you before, this chair is incorrectly was incorrectly built, and the seat slopes forward, and so I got pressure. I got weight put on my legs and feet. Last thing I need. It's just it's where I can't sit down, I can't lie down, I can't stand, because eventually it just starts hurting. So I'm constantly moving around, just sitting down or standing up, doing something, trying to make it stop for a little while. The more I look at my condition, the more I conclude I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and start going through the ordeal necessary to get a booth at the Arbors. Just basically fall off the planet for 2 weeks. Not that I don't do that on a regular basis anyway, is it? But I'm pretty sure you're all sick of listening to a fat old fart talk about his problems like this, so I think I'll drop it for now. But dang, do my feet hurt. Hurt. I hate hurting and not being able to do anything about it. I'm not sure if anybody actually likes it. It's just a colossal drag. Stomach's decided it's going to be a pain in the butt too, so more fun with that, yay. Now, let me talk about something. Now, you've all seen the ads for Captain Marvel, the Marvel movie. It's interesting that at the same time, DC is coming out with another movie. It's called Shazam, the original Captain Marvel. It's not called the original. Okay, it's just Shazam is about the original Captain Marvel, which they own. And I'm sure you know the one, with the lightning bolt, and he yells Shazam, and he's a kid who turns into a sort of a mythic Superman. Strength of wisdom of Solomon, strength of Hercules, endurance of Atlas, speed of Mercury, invulnerability of Achilles, and power of Zeus, and something, etc., etc. But I gotta say, I've seen the trailers. I am really looking forward to seeing this. I'll have to be watching it on Netflix, but it looks like it's going to be really, really good. And I gotta say this. Now, this Shazam it's coming. It's really going to be different. Because look, I've looked at all these other superhero movies, and they're all about the guy gets powers and Sirius is up. Great power, great responsibility. We're off to save the world. And for king and country and all. And they get all agreement, and in the case of Spider-Man, they get all angsty. Of course, they all get angsty nowadays. Even Superman. You've seen the latest Superman movies. It's just sad. They turn him all grim and gritty and conflicted and crap. And I'm like, that's not Superman. I'm sorry. I guess Christopher Reeve was the final definition of Superman in the movies, if you ask me. But anyway. But this movie, even this guy, Captain Marvel, Shazam. This is about a kid who gets picked to be the next Captain Marvel, and he's become a super, and he is having a blast every step of the way, and he's actually enjoying being what he is, and I'm like, you don't see that in these other superhero movies. It's all great responsibility and heavy hangs the head that wears a crown and all this other crap. And if the hero if the hero starts enjoying themselves too much, crisis, reason for angst. Even this new Spider-Man animated movie, Into the Spider-Verse, I've seen clips of that, and it's the kid gains the powers, and then great and the great powers, great responsibility thing just falls out of the sky on him at every opportunity. But anyway, Captain Marvel, this is the first one where the protagonist is actually happy to be what he is. I'm like, we need more of that, if you ask me. We need a lot more of it. And I'm afraid, what I'm worried about is they're going to have, it's going to be the stereotypical, hero's story arc from the movies. The kid gains great power. He starts having fun, and then the plot comes along and says, "No more fun. It's time to be responsible." And and he learns a terrible lesson about how great power, great responsibility, and how he is, he needs to serious up, and there are terrible consequences, and blah 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 blah. I'm afraid they're going to do that with Captain Marvel. I'm going to be amazed and impressed if they manage to avoid doing that. And really, the whole Shazam thing it's a flip. It's an inversion of the usual superhero story arc. How does the usual story go? We're introduced to the protagonist. The protagonist the protagonist gains powers, and then a terrible calamity befalls them. They lose their parents, or they lose someone they love, or some other terrible thing happens along those lines, and they learn how important it is for them to serious up and be a proper hero. But this is the inverse. Billy Batson, he's introduced. He's already an orphan. The movie isn't about him losing his family and becoming... He gains a family. His foster family. He doesn't get all grim and angsty because he's become a super-powered hero. He goes out and he starts having a blast being a hero. And not like Peter Parker did. He doesn't go out and try and get rich doing it. He goes out, and just, hey, I'm a superhero. Hey, here, let me recharge your phone. Here, let me do this cool thing over here so you can watch. And he's having a blast. And he meets the villain. Oh, you're a bad guy. Cool. And let's go at it. He charges the guy. So the Captain Marvel, the Shazam story arc is literally the inverse of what a usual superhero's origin story is. It's usually the hero gains powers, suffers a great loss, and or suffers a great loss and gains powers. Mileage may vary on which comes first. And he goes out and becomes a serious, responsible superhero who broods on rooftops. But this guy, it's not about him losing a family. It's about him, about him losing a family. It's about him gaining a family. Just as he becomes a superhero. It's not about him learning to serious up. It's about him. He goes out. He has fun being the good guy. That's a pretty notable departure from the usual formula. That's why the new Superman movie failed so hard. The original origin story of Superman was Here's this guy. He's basically the gifted one, the chosen one. He's the one meant to be a hero, and you see him grow up and become the champion of good. Thanks to Ma and Pa Kent. But in the new movie, they decided they had to do the tragic lost Spider-Man Batman formula, where he doesn't know what he doesn't understand what he's meant to be, and he's all angsty and broody, and he loses Pa Kent in a tragedy, just to serious him up a little more, like gag me with a fork. So totally not Superman. But whoever is working on this, I'm going entirely by the trailers here. Now I could be proven horribly wrong when the movie actually comes out, but it looks like it's got a lot of promise. Oh yeah, the multiverse. I've seen clips of the multiverse Spider-Man movie. It looks what I've seen is very good, but you know, oh, got a little weight sitting on my gut. I may have to run to the restroom in a little bit. So don't be surprised if I drop the mic and run for my life. In fact, it's almost certain at this point. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to run for it. I'll be right back in a few minutes. Right back in a few. And I'm back. Yeah, I did say the other A was Atlas. But anyway. Whew. Excuse me, I'm winded. A bit of a trot. Back and forth. Now, let me turn the music down here. All right. The thing of it is, another. How many have you seen One Punch Man? One Punch Man. For those of you who haven't, quick summary: One Punch Man is an anime. It was originally an online comic by a Japanese fanboy. He just basically sketched up one day a high, it was a very crudely drawn comic, and one day he was about to give it up, in fact, so he could concentrate more on getting a job, his job, and so on and so forth. And he got contacted by a very famous, he's famous in Japan anyway, manga and anime artist, writer, who offered a deal. If he would keep writing the comic, this guy would draw it. And eventually they were going, and they'd pay him. And he said, great. And he started doing the comic again. And eventually they eventually made it into an anime, which you can see on Netflix. Now, the basic idea of One Punch Man is that it's in a superhero setting, and One Punch Man is an ordinary salaryman, a day-to-day office worker, who becomes the strongest superhero in the world. And the thing of it is, he is so strong and so powerful that he can win any fight with a single punch. It's a rather gruesome and gory anime. It's played for laughs, but man. Let's see. In the very first episode, you see this one evil supervillain who is set on destroying humanity. He's supposed to be like an antivirus from Mother Earth, set out to cull the human race. And he shows up and he starts ranting and raving about how he's going to destroy humanity. And One Punch Man, and the guy literally explodes into gibbets of goo that fly everywhere. He's like, crap. And the thing of it is that One Punch Man, he's gotten bored. He's incredibly bored. He's depressed, in fact, because he is literally so powerful that there's no challenge to being a superhero anymore. And he's never in any danger. He's indestructible too, so he's never in any danger. And through the entire series, he never meets anybody who's any kind of match for him. But and it's a parody of the whole superhero genre, and it pokes a lot of fun at various anime conventions as well, big time. But one of the things about it is that people like to talk about it. He says people psychoanalyzing this whole comic series. One guy I was listening to recently said, his whole problem is that there's nothing that's difficult for him anymore, and so there's no challenge for him anymore, and the secret to happiness is to always be faced with difficulties and challenges and obstacles in your path, and otherwise triumph is meaningless, and blah 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 blah. yada yada yada. Psychoanalyzing the whole thing as proof that humanity needs hardship to thrive, and and even my first gut instinct reaction was, no, that can't be right. No, it's not right. That doesn't sound quite right. And it's an oversimplification. It's a real serious oversimplification. Anybody who thinks that difficulty makes things better, feel free to go and live in an Amish community and leave the rest of us the hell alone. I'm sorry. No. Hardship, difficulty and hardship does not make for a meaningful life. You want to know how I know that? You ever play a Nintendo game? There's a whole trope on that. Nintendo hard. When a game is, in the old 8-bit days, they would make games artificially almost impossible to win. Ridiculously difficult, requiring pinpoint accuracy and everything else, and it was called Nintendo Hard because the ridiculous requirements. The ultimate example of that is an online game they got called I Want to Be the Guy, where basically all those challenges and difficulties are cranked up to 9,000. But anyway, backing up and charging forward again. Let me put it this way: I used to play. I played Minecraft for a while. Me being me, I put it on the zero monsters setting, so I could just it was difficult enough for me. It was challenging enough for me trying to collect all the resources and build the buildings and all that other stuff. I had a 2-story castle with a dungeon underneath and a waterfall. And I had lava moat and everything, and I even had a railway system that connected my castle to the nearest town. I could ride a little cart all the way back and forth to them, and as it went on, I finally learned. I had a giant tree house in a tree go out on the railroads, and like a mile away there was a giant tree. I built a tree house in, and I had and another base out on an island, and well, it was fun for quite a while. And then I learned the cheat codes. And, I could with just by typing in a line of code, I could generate a giant block of whatever I needed, any resource I needed. Yeah, I could make monsters pop out of nowhere. I could make anything if I put in enough diligence. I made a giant aquarium out of blocks of crystal, and filled it with seawater and squid. I could do it. It was easy. It was just a few lines of code and careful counting of how thick the glass had to be, and away we went. And it quit being fun with astounding rapidity. Now, I could have just turned off the cheat codes, but that was even less fun. That's the thing about this. This is my point. Is that removing the challenge, remove the fun, but trying to reestablish a challenge didn't do anything either. It was even less fun to be playing the game, knowing for a fact that I was playing it artificially difficult. There was no sense of accomplishment in doing anything. It was just a sense that I made this harder for myself than I needed to. It's not difficulty that makes it's not difficulty that makes things seem worthwhile. A life without difficulties and challenges may be boring, but a life with endless difficulties and challenges and no victories is just as boring and worse, depressing, frustrating. It's not difficulty or hardship that make an effort meaningful. It's it's having goals worth reaching. Now, one of the things about One Punch Man, no matter what he does, he's bored to death because he's already surpassed the first challenge, being able to face his enemies and beat them up. But he's stalled out at that point. There's nobody there pointing out to him, there's more to being a superhero than just punching bad guys in the mush. Anyway, making the game hard for myself again, in for instance in Minecraft or in any other game, just artificially cranking up the difficulty doesn't make it any better. In fact, it makes it more frustrating. Like I'm trying to think of a good example. No. It's not difficulty that gives our lives meaning. I'm slipping into a groove here, just drifting off a bit. Whew. So hard to stay wide awake these days. I don't get enough sleep, and I can't sleep when I lie down. Shouldn't let my mind wander. It's too little to be out on its own. I was trying to think of where I was going and I lost track. Getting a little chilly in here again. It's not supposed to get as cold tonight as it was last night, but I'm not feeling too copacetic about it. Been a long day. Like I said, didn't get much sleep. Tried to get sleep and couldn't sleep. Hurt too much. I go my legs over the side, my legs started hurting. If I try to sit up in bed, my back hurt and my now. Who am I? I didn't sleep much last night. I didn't sleep much. Tried to sleep in this morning. Couldn't sleep then. And I don't know what it was. No matter how I lay, parts of me would start hurting so bad. My hips, my back, my legs, my knees. And that's just with me lying prone. Sitting in this chair is no better because it's misshapen. The shape's, it's built crooked, and so the seat is out of alignment. So I just start getting pains in my back and lower legs, and that's on top of the discomfort from the lymphedema. It's unpleasant. Still drifting off. I do apologize for that. It's rather exasperating. I am seriously hurting here. Gotta get some over-the-counter pain pills, and I don't think aspirin's gonna cut it. Not the way, especially not the way I'd have to chuck them. find myself talking more and more about old TV shows and old movies and old books and old. Now, I'm running out of things to talk about, to be truthful. I may have to just rest for a few minutes, let my brain reboot. $76,000 what? Context for what? I think the real problem with Saitama, One Punch Man, is that the real thing that everybody's missing is that all the superheroes, they focus almost entirely on beating up the bad guys and the monsters, and that's all they're about. They don't, they don't look beyond, and he's already achieved the ultimate. He's uh, uh, for a superhero as far as they're concerned in their world, a superhero is measured by how big of a villain he's defeated in a fight. You would think, it would be a big transcendent moment if somebody actually took Saitama aside and pointed out, look, there's more to being a hero, much less a superhero, than beating up bad guys. You think about it as what are the things that made Superman so great? It wasn't the fact that he could punch anybody in the face and knock them out. It's the stories where he rescues people, where he comes in and intervenes when people are at their lowest. It's the times he's talked people down off a ledge who are going to kill themselves. It's oh my. Uh, Still drifting off, but think about it as if Saitama has already uh, defeated the first really big challenge of being a superhero, being tough enough to do the job, being stronger than the villains who want to make his life difficult. But he's never looked into the idea of using those powers for something other than fighting. Now, what would be a real challenge for One Punch Man is if he had to use that tremendous strength to protect somebody, or to rescue somebody, or to help somebody through a trial. Oh my. Missed the news of a new caravan, huh? Never interrupt an enemy when he's making a mistake. Oh, it's not really an emergency. I'm sorry, where were these people that say, oh, you just shouldn't have this much power? I'm sorry, Obama declared all sorts of national emergencies for foreign lands. He was, that's how he got, sent so much foreign aid out, is that he declared emergencies all over Europe and Asia, and was handing out money left and right. Trump declares an emergency defending this country from invaders, and wants to spend the money on our country, and of course they're going to crap their pants about it. Yeah, but it was already an existent power. Claiming that they're giving him more power is disingenuous. Not using it for what's meant to be used for is disingenuous too. It's kind of stupid. Because this is the only legitimate time they're using it, because it's a national emergency, and it is an emergency. We literally have an army marching over our borders every single year. An army of outlaws and criminals who have no loyalty to this country, who are transgressing against our laws, and who are basically facilitating drug trade, human trafficking, and worse. Where are these compassionate bastards when they're out there, when they got these Mexicans and Southerners coming up through here selling their children into sexual slavery? They don't give a crap about these people. They never did, and they never will. The only thing they're interested in is using them as a political football. The people who are trying to get those of us who are trying to get the wall built and our borders closed, we are the ones who actually give a damn. Pardon my French. It's the truth. Half of those illegal immigrants are coming over here to break the law and commit crimes and exploit our system, and others are coming over here and being exploited. It's a horrible, shitty thing all the way around. And it needs to stop. The cost, just the cost alone, to America is measured in the billions of dollars. Pardon. These people are going, oh, it's for the children. We want to protect we want to protect the poor little Mexican children from being separated from their parents by those evil border patrol officers. These same people are the ones who pushed for abortion to be permissible up until 2 hours after birth, and got it. Which is just the words horrifying doesn't even begin to describe that. Our nation is run by monsters. You know that socialist bimbo, Cortez, whatever her name is. I've heard people refer to her as occasional Cortex. You realize she got, you know how she got elected? She got 16,000 votes. She didn't win by 16,000 votes. She got 16,000 votes. You get more votes in a high school election. Fewer people than attend your local high school got this woman into power, and now she's leading the Democratic Party, as a flag bearer. What the hell? She's a college graduate with a useless degree, and her only experience in the workforce is as a bartender. Shaken, not stirred, and hold the stupid. And and she's still got her head stuffed full of cotton, hay, and rags, and the stupidity that she was spoon-fed by her Marxist college professors. She is now enjoying the power and privilege of our elite caste in Washington, D.C. It is repulsive and appalling and horrible and horrifying and every other synonym you can think of. You remember that story about the Roman emperor who had his horse appointed to the Senate? Looking at a woman, you go, yeah, we're almost there. 50, 100 years of our educational system failing our students, failing them in the worst way possible, failing to teach them. Public education system was never a tool for creating free, intelligent, and self-sufficient individuals. It wasn't meant to create American citizens. It was meant to create peasants and cannon fodder for the elite classes to send off into battle to die, and send them down in the mines to choke to death on coal dust, keeping the wheels of industry running. That was the intent. It was supposed to be a system for educating everybody just barely enough to let them function in an industrial era society and in the military. That was the purpose. That was the Prussian school model, and that was what they sold to the United States. That was what was adopted, and it was executed across the country. And in the past 100 years, we dumbed down our own population to the point that anybody with half a book's worth of learning and a butter knife could overrun this country. Mind slipping a groove again. It's wandering off. Can't have that happen. I hate this weather. I hate this cold. I hate not having any energy. I hate being hurting all the time. I hate not being able to sleep without being in pain. I hate the fact that just trying to deal with any of this involves a massive rigmarole with the insurance company, with Medicare, Medicaid, with my doctor's office, with the hospital, with everybody else, to go all around the lawyer rush, even for something as simple as a little physical therapy. I've got a recliner in here. The problem, if I could just clean it off, I could probably sleep in that. Even if there isn't any way to prop my feet up, the foot thingy that pops out, it's supposed to lift your feet up. It's not strong enough to lift my feet. That's how heavy my legs are. And it breaks my heart. It really does, because it was so comfortable. This is a great big huge double wide light recliner. It's built for a fat ass twice my size. And I'm like, yes, thank you, Jesus. You have provided abundantly for my abundant fat ass. And, and I got that chair and I got it in here, and pretty soon my legs gotten so large that the foot lever wouldn't lift them up anymore. And I'm like, and the whole purpose of having the thing was basically defeated. And basically I've got all sorts of crap piled up on top of it right now, because you get to sit on it, If I could maybe just get I don't know, maybe if I tied a rope to it or something, to the foot lever, and sort of winched it up or something. But I don't know. If it had little drop down legs underneath, so it would stand up after it was lifted. It's a little bit of carpentry that's beyond me, frankly. Oh. Have you seen pictures of that woman? You can almost hear it. I swear, you can hear a jackass braying. Just those big honking teeth and those eyes, and Abdullah, the camels are rampaging. We've got this communist retard in cars, and we've got a Muslim in there too. And I'm like, just drag the government out back and shoot it. You might as well. It's that gone. It is that gone, when I get like this, I get second wind. I'm having a little bit of second wind here. Don't know how long it'll last, but there it is, Ow, 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 my foot. I wish I had a mirror. I need a mirror to look at the bottom of my foot. They're so sore. I worried. I'm starting to worry. But, just the weight on them. And the problem with circulation and everything. And I promised myself I would not spend all this evening just talking. Oh, I am such bad health. I feel so bad. You should feel bad for me. Where? I'm like, no, not today, not today. But yes, this is what I'm doing. I'm sitting here, whining about my health. I'm an old fart. I'm an unhealthy old fart. I think where it is partially, I want to do something about this. I want to do. There's something I could do, but technically that I could try and do about my situation with my health, but even trying to attack these issues is almost futile gesture, and just arranging things to go visit my doctor requires laying out funds. It means calling up insurance companies and trying to arrange transportation, and the damn fools never seem to listen when I tell them I need special transportation because of because of my legs. And no, you can't just call a taxi and stuff me in the back seat. They don't believe me. They won't listen to me. They won't, and when they do, they can't seem to do anything. And just going to a doctor for a trivial, what is a trivial visit for one of you all, for me is an epic saga almost. It's almost like call up Moses to round up the tribes of Israel. We're going to the doctors, And I got to go through all that rigmarole, go through all that pain. Yes, I do mean pain. And difficulty and struggle just to drag my raggedy ass to the doctor's office so he can leave me waiting an hour in his front room and then spend 5 seconds looking at my legs and say, by golly, you've got swollen legs. Maybe we should put you in the clinic. And if they decide they can do that, and then trying to convince Medicaid to pay for it, there's all sorts of, there's treatments, there's all sorts of things you can do for lymphedema. Of course, they require big, fat stacks of money. There are these air pressure leg sleeves you can put over your legs. They have to be custom made, especially for someone who's far gone as me. They need to be custom made, and they cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And all they are is basically a couple of vinyl balloons and an air pump, a plug-in air pump. And you sit there for a couple of hours every day, and it swells up and squeezes your leg until your eyeballs bug out. Like a big old toothpaste tube. And you can just, you get my point. But I've gone round robin with Medicaid and with the office, and no, they won't cover it. They won't cover it. They'd rather have to pay the inevitable huge medical bills when my legs go rancid or something than to pay for an air pump for my legs. I don't know. I don't understand the inner workings of this. I never wanted to be on Medicaid. I never wanted to be on welfare. I never wanted to be like this. And I was fairly confident when I was younger that I wouldn't be, because I come from what I thought was a fairly healthy stock. Very fairly healthy family line, and no, I don't. It was about the time I got on my own, my grandparents, great-grandparents, everything just started falling apart on them. And I'm like, oh crap, these are my genes. But here I am, and I don't, I barely know my way around. Those are, you hear about these families that are like second, third, fourth generation welfare and Social Security and disability. Kid you not, 3 or 4 generations of it. And they know their way around the system. Native waters for them. It really is. It really is kind of sad, though. But that looks terrible. Let's see here. Have I got the right window open? Yeah, I've got the right window open. I like the confidence to. I don't know. I just. Is the few avenues I have open are so long and uncertain and so laden with discomfort and pain, frankly, that and I'm afraid to even try and venture forth on them. That's my fault. That's my weakness. My shortcoming. I dread the very idea of trying to just trying to go to my doctor's office. I dread the idea of trying to because of the pain and discomfort and embarrassment. You want to take a shot to your public dignity, end up looking like me, and end up having to walk around. The only thing you can really wear is hospital gowns and bathrobes. Because they do, there are no pants that will stretch over those legs. And having to go out in public like that and waddle your way through a building just to speak to a doctor for 5 minutes, and you will be highly motivated to try and convince yourself that you can fix this at home. I don't know. I'll have to clear off. I'll have to clear off the recliner and try and see to find out first if it locks. I don't think it. I'm not sure if it does. It doesn't exactly click lock in place. So not really sure. It's starting to get cold again. Let's see, it's currently 22 degrees. It's going to be down to 14 with a real feel of 7. Oh, another night of suck. Oh, just... What is today? Wednesday? Thursday? It's Tuesday. Goodness. Let's see. Let's see. Hourly. It's not going to break 30 degrees. It's not going to. It's not going to break 30 degrees until Thursday. Then it'll pop up to 38. It's I wanted. I did not want to spend my time talking about my personal physical problems. I did not want to do that. I'm sorry for that. I apologize for that. But it's sort of dwelling on my mind right now. I am in noticeable discomfort, and it's hard not to talk about it. You talk about what's on your mind the most. You know what I'm saying? Don't even really have any pain medicine right now. Not even any aspirin or Tylenol. It's one of the things I've got to go on Amazon and stock up on a few things. Get some Alka-Seltzer. You want to talk about things you regret running out of. Alka-Seltzer, especially if you have like a tendency for indigestion or heartburn or acid reflux. Oh man, because if you don't have Alka-Seltzer, and don't be fooled, Pepto-Bismol does not help. Coats, soothes, relieves, doesn't, at least in my case, it does not help with serious heartburn. In fact, it seems to make things worse. It makes it feel like there's a knot in my esophagus. But Alka-Seltzer, and you run out of that. If you run out of that, your options are basically just baking soda and water. It's a quick dirty cure for acid reflux and heartburn. Neutralizes the acid. You drop some baking soda into a cup, add some water, stir it up, drink it down. Oh, it tastes awful. It tastes awful. It's like drinking salt water. It's like drinking brine, only not as pleasant. But you chuck that back. Just a half a cup of water is enough. But you just chuck it back. That's when things get interesting. Because man, same problem with Alka-Seltzer, but it's a lot more noticeable with baking soda. That acid hits that the alkali, the antacid hits the acid, and instant gas generation. And within 5 minutes, you will be belching like a foghorn. I'm not kidding you. I mean, frightened myself. Scare the dog kind of belches. I'm like, holy crap! Where did that come from? There's only half a cup of baking soda and water with a. You feel a lot better after it's done. Puts out the fire and then gas relief. And if you wait long enough, you'll be able to play a trumpet duet. Oh my. Beans, the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. Let's have beans every meal. Beans ain't got nothing on baking soda, let me tell you. Good night. it's coming back. Worse. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight either. I've been napping here in my chair, which has been doing wonders for my back and hips, but I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I can't sleep if there's a chill in the air, because the cold air on my face keeps me awake. I'm able to bundle it, even bundled up under blankets, I have to pull the blanket up over your head, and I'm like, I pull the blanket up over my head, great, keeps the cold air off my face, and then I'm breathing my own breath, and I'm like, am I going to suffocate myself with my own carbon dioxide? Is this it? Is this how I'm going to die? And I'm really in a lot of pain, because let's put it this way: 99% of my life, you could take most of my life and just forklift it into a landfill, and just replace it with something from scratch, and if I was like 20 years younger, 10 years younger, I'm not going to be. Have you ever lain in a bed that was so uncomfortable, no matter which way you lay, it hurt? It's the stress of being awake so long. I get tense, I suppose. This bad situation to be in. I don't know what I would recommend to y'all. If one of the things I recommend to anybody who's up and young and up and starting and everything, whatever house you choose to live in, pick a house that you could live in comfortably if you were 80 years old, 90 years old. It's one of the greatest failings is that we do not design our houses to be lived in the way we'll have to for the majority of our lives. We spend most of our lives being old, okay, and physically infirm in some way. Once you hit 40, no matter how well you take care of yourself, things start happening. Knees start giving out, discs start slipping and herniating, other things start herniating, and your bones start getting more fragile, and just all you're just going old. We don't build our homes for people who are growing old. We build them as if we thought we were going to be swinging around from tree branches like Tarzan till we were 90. Narrow little staircases, 3 or 4 stories high. Bathtubs and showers you have to climb into. Really, that's a tremendously bad idea. It's bad. One of my fantasies is to own one of those big walk-in showers. Have that entire bathroom ripped out. That entire trailer bathroom I have ripped out and replaced with a big, shower stall type setup. With a little bench you can sit on while you're showering. And sprayers and everything. Rails everywhere, hand grips, doors. One of the things I've always said is it's stupid that we design we design our houses so it's almost impossible to get anything in or out. If I were to buy the furniture that I want so much, if I were to actually manage to buy one of those big Posturematic, whatever it is, self-adjustable beds, I would not be able to get it through my front door. I don't know if it's not the way this trailer is built. No way. I would not be able to get it through the front door, and I sure as heck wouldn't be able to get it through the back door. Or even a regular sofa. Unless you get furniture that comes dismantled in pieces, like IKEA was having a bad day, you're not going to get it into your house. Every house should have a big, double-wide, garage door-sized front door. Just for getting stuff in and out. Excuse me. I feel like I'm in a wrestling match with life and I've lost already. I waste a lot of time thinking about if I could go back to when I was like, if I could go back in time, start over, knowing what I know now, in my own body. I think I would pick. I think I would choose to start, at the age of 12 or 13, actually. Well, maybe 12. Because it's when I turned into a teenager that, when you're a little kid, everybody's taking care of you. And then suddenly you turn into a teenager and everybody expects you to already be an adult. And let's just say I was not prepared for the transition. I would go back to the age of 13. I would go back to the age of 12, give myself a 1-year running head start. And I would change so many things. Oh, I do this different. Oh, I do that different. And truthfully, we probably, any of us who was sent back in time did the same thing. We would probably end up just making the same mistakes over again and just in different packaging. Let's be honest. Of course, we don't know that. So I always wondered about that, how everybody's so certain we would do the same things over again, or that we would make the same mistakes over again, or that we, make things bad or worse. Why are we always convinced? There is nobody on record of having actually gone back in time, and we have no idea how a person would really react to waking up and suddenly being 10, 20, 30, 50 years younger. You know, and it being back in the 80s, and they're starting over. We have no idea how they'd react. We have no clue. But we always assume the worst. We always assume that given such an incredible opportunity, we'd screw it up. That's remarkably cynical. I'm sure a lot of us would, human nature being what it is, but some of us would get it right. I don't believe in the idea of doomed to failure. If we're destined to fail, then why give us a chance in the first place, you know? I'm not certain whether I'd want to be a 12-year-old back then or a 12-year-old now. I would rather, you know, I think probably back then, just, you know, the power of foreknowledge. But I would, you know, given a choice between being 12-year-old back then or just being 21 now, oh my. 21 back when I was skinny and I had normal human legs and I could walk for miles and not think a thing of it. I used to walk everywhere. I used to literally miles every day. One of my bad habits was, as far as my dad was concerned, it drove him crazy. If I would start thinking about stuff, I would start pacing. I would pace back and forth in the house. I would pace in circles in the living room if nobody was there. I just did. And he's like, "Why are you pacing? You're like a panther in a cage." Bet he regrets saying that now. I barely move anymore. Drove him bonkers. But it was how I would think, you know, if I was letting my imagination run away with me, or if I was just thinking about, you know, different things I wanted to plan out or do. I'd just pace in a circle. I'd pace back, or I'd pace in a figure eight. That was just me. I probably should have made a habit of if I'd have been smart, I would have taken up the habit of, you know, going out, going for a walk like that. But I didn't. You know, if you're going to pace in one direction. Big circle around the block. Then I could have called it exercise and he would have backed off. They always seemed to be more concerned about me looking weird than I was worried about being weird. Stop watching those cartoons, Eddie. You're older now. You're 13 now. Stop watching those cartoons. You're right. I should be out smoking and doing drugs and trying to feel a girl's boobs like a normal kid, you know. What do your friends think if they see you watching these cartoons? They're not going to see me doing it. Maybe you missed the bulletin that I didn't have any friends. I was a social outcast in school, Mom, Dad. And I didn't care what they thought of my pastimes anyway. That always got me. C.S. Lewis quote. He said when he was 14, he would die before he'd be caught reading a fairy tale. Now that he was in his 40s, he read them with all the pleasure that he could, all the pleasure that he could imagine, and not a thought about what people would think. He said, "When I became a man, I put away childish things, including the oh so childish need to be thought of as oh so very adult." And I read that and I was like, word. Talk about thinking about a comeback way late for the argument. That is an argument. That was an argument. Let's see, over 35 years old. Oh well, I'll save it for the next round. The witty comeback. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Man, my knees hurt. Everything hurts. I'm old. I'm an old fart. Woe is me. Yeah. The Clintons face new accusations of nepotism, retribution, politics, and tell. Whoop-de-flippin' do. Call me when you got them in jail. I'm just so tired of hearing about the Clintons. Or rather, I'm tired of hearing about the Clintons and then hearing about how they've not been arrested for anything yet. Call me when one of their many crimes actually lands them behind bars. I am so pissed that those two horrible people, they and their cronies, have committed crimes, any one of which would have landed me in prison until I was old and gray. Which is now. But, you know, you or I, if we had committed anything that they have done, we would have been planted under the jail by the government. No, they're running around, just waltzing around scot-free. Tiptoeing through the tulips, just prancing along, happy as can be. Ugh. I'm so sick of watching watching people in power commit blatant crimes, not even get chastised for it by the law. And these same people that are supposed to be the watchdogs of our society turn on the rest of us instead. How dare you criticize his blackness, Prince Obama? Oh, my feet. Oh, 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 oh. Jeez. I'm going to take a whack at getting that recliner cleaned up and usable. You just got to find a place to put all the crap that's sitting on it. Get stuff out from in front of it. Oh, good news is that Daniel Meyer sent me the receipt for the electric blanket, so I can call up Amazon and Sunbeam. It's beyond time they can be returned to Amazon, but Sunbeam blankets have a 5-year warranty. I should be able to get like some customer service or something along those regards. Just got to sit down, look through the thing, and contact them. My blanket done keeled over dead. I don't know that there's really anything that they could do to improve the technology. I don't know. As you're talking about an electric conductor, a semiconductor, strung through a blanket, which is it's going to be knocked around. It's going to be cleaned. It's going to be washed. It's going to be stuffed in a washer. It's going to be, it's going to be lied on. It's going to have, it's going to be flexed a lot. So it's eventually the wires are going to break, or whatever is being used for the wire. So it's sort of an unfixable problem. Oh. It's going to take a materials revolution, so to speak. Come up with a new sort of semiconductor that doesn't suffer material fatigue from being put inside a flexible cloth. Maybe just some entirely different way to heat them. Excuse me. Ow. Oh my. It's just my joints are just. Excuse me, it's just My knees are really hurting right now. Yeah. My everything's hurting right now, actually. Trying to stretch and get more comfortable just means I stretch into another position which is more uncomfortable for some other part of me. How many of you remember those infotainment commercials that they used to have on Saturday mornings for kids programs? Doctor Who's, I remember, Schoolhouse Rock. You know the Schoolhouse Rock, and they had history, American history rock and math rock and English rock and all various variations of that. And then they had the other ones, Dr. Henry's Emergency Lessons for People, which were quick little animations about how to perform first aid. And they also had a couple of other ones that were on thinking about something before you buy it. Like Gordon Graham Gantz, specialized in true romance. And he was suave, debonair, he used oil on his hair. But as for girls, they thought Gordon Graham Gantz was weird. Gordon thought he'd be just like those actors on TV if he bought all the products that they sold. With happy hair, skin so tan. What was it? Happy hair, skin so tan, summer lotion and oil and cologne for men. He dreamed the girls would lose their self-control. It hasn't worked so far, though he buys things by the carload. Tubes and bottles, boxes, there he goes. But he's sure someday he'll pick just the thing to do the trick and turn him into Instant Romeo. And it goes on that maybe you ought to change the stuff inside first before trying all these little products to change the outside. Think of Gordon Graham Gantz before you buy it. And another one about a little girl threw tantrums because all her stuff kept breaking, but she never looked at the warranties. Think of so-and-so before you buy it, and so on and so forth. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, jeez. Pain. Ugh. Okay, I think my body is basically telling me stop now. My joints are all acting up all at once. And okay, it's kind of a rough day. Maybe after things warm up and I get some proper sleep and everything balances back out again, maybe. But right now, I'm feeling like I've been worked over with a baseball bat. I'm really frustrated by this. I really am. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go ahead and call it an early night. I'm just. I'm just aching and hurting too much to focus. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all very much. But, oh. I'll try and pick up again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but I'll post a notice on Facebook and on Twitter when I'm ready to roll cameras.